What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So over the weekend, we had the Spawn cast, took a look at some new GameCube games, which included some demo discs, so check that video out if you have not already. It was pretty fun to do, and then talked a bit about Death Stranding and some of the review issues that seem to be happening right now. I'm going to get that game on Friday, and I'm going to be playing quite a bit of it, just so I can give my own opinion on it. As for today, though, we have a bunch of stuff to go over today. We're going to talk a bit about Blizzcon, all the stuff that was announced there, and I also want to talk a bit about Pokemon leaks that are all over the place right now. I'm not interested in doing any spoilers or showing any images or any of that stuff here, but I at least want to give you some warning and kind of talk a bit about what is out there, just so if you want, you can avoid all of it. As always, guys, enjoy these videos. Make sure the like button does help out, and get subscribed so you can stay updated on all the gaming news going on in the gaming world. We're going to start today with the winner of the Vita competition, so congratulations to Timothy Roper for winning the PlayStation Vita and a loose copy of Wipeout. That's going to be going out this week for you, so congratulations there, and enjoy your new Vita. And I would start collecting sooner rather than later as the games continue to go up in price. Trust me, I'm always checking now because I do want to start working on that collection, since I think in like 10 or 15 years, those are going to be substantially more, just because they're going to be harder to find overall. A Vita itself might be hard to find there. So congratulations, and don't worry too much. We're going to have more giveaways going forward. And jumping into some of the quick news, Toby Fox is doing a track for Pokemon, and this is pretty cool. Now, when I played Little Town Hero, didn't like the game that much, but the music was good, and Toby Fox helped out with the music there, and yeah, that actually makes sense. You might know Toby Fox, I don't know, from a small game called Undertale or Deltarune, but yes, they put this tweet out here saying, "Hey, I'm finally allowed to announce this. I was asked to compose a track for Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's a huge honor to be asked to be part of something like this. I hope you enjoy hearing it when the game comes out." And a little drawing there of it and everything, pretty cool. And something I'm noticing, and I think other people are noticing as well, is Toby Fox has been really kind of getting comfortable with Nintendo there. I wonder if they have any plans for Toby kind of internal to Nintendo. I don't know. I mean, there's always the Earthbound or Mother series. That could use another sequel, right? Oh, and if you forgot about Anthem, don't worry, it seems like EA and BioWare kind of has as well. And this is a tweet that was put out as you're seeing here. This one's from Chad Robertson saying, "This is my last week with BioWare. I've been with the company for 14 years and I'm grateful for everything I've been part of here." Going on to talk about how I was part of Anthem, the Star Wars, the Old Republic. And here's the thing. That was their head of live services at BioWare, and now they are not there. So what happened to Anthem? We haven't heard anything really about it that much. I think they had like an expansion that came out a bit ago, and that was kind of it. EA's been pretty quiet about it at this point. Didn't really talk much about it at the investors briefing, like at all. Just more about, hey, we're looking forward. We're going to be doing a lot with live services now because that's where we're making a lot of our money, and we're going to wait for the next Battlefield to come out till like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Scarlet are larger with their install base, especially with their initial run in the first year. Unfortunately, I think that's kind of it for Anthem. I don't know if we're going to hear much else about it, and it was crazy because we saw it at E3 when they first showed it, and it was really, really cool. People got really excited, and that came out and then fell off a cliff. And it's kind of a shame because I don't know how much BioWare has left in the tank with EA. I think this next Dragon Age game has to do well, or they might be added to that meme of companies that EA has taken out. Oh, and if you were someone like Sean and you, for whatever reason, bought WWE 2K20 despite seeing all of the hilarious glitches, well, they put out a patch. Here are the patch notes. It's like everything. I saw this patch notes and I said, wow, okay. That whenever they have to bring bullet points into it, you know it's going to be a whole thing. But I mean, everything like graphics and clipping, hair physics, hit detection and aiming, on-screen button prompts, crashes and freezing. We're talking about everything. Like, this is like the entire game redone almost, and it's that's just the state 2K20 came out. And look, we know Ukes left like midway through, and that was a whole thing, and they scrambled to get it out there, but this game was not ready. I still wouldn't pick it up yet because I think it's going to go on deep discount very, very quickly. I'm not even kidding, it might have a Black Friday discount. Yeah, like, it's gonna have a discount on Black Friday like a month later from when it came out. So I wouldn't jump on it even after these fixes, and I would still look to see if things are actually fixed. And guys, some of the quick that way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's talk about the Pokemon leaks. Here's the thing, I'm not gonna show you the images or any of that here, mostly because the Pokemon company, Nintendo, they're not happy. They are very, very mad from what I've heard. So I'm not going to be playing with any of that stuff. I'm sure there's plenty of sites right now. I think even Nintendo Everything was putting up images, probably when they probably shouldn't be, but they did, you know, and okay, they'll go with that. But this happened on Twitter, and it happened fast. Like, it was a couple of days of, oh, look, some stuff is starting to leak out. Specifically, it started that I saw with evolutions of the starters. We saw Grookey, Sobble, and from there, Scorbunny did eventually show up with their evolution, but it kind of went from that, started to snowball into, like, the entire Pokedex starting to come out. Like, I think we almost have a number of the Pokemon that are in here, some that are not, and that's kind of causing some frustrations online. But this seems to be like the big tweet that recapped everything. Again, I'm not showing you much else outside of that, but you can go to Twitter and see for yourself if you would like to. It's a lot of spoilers in there for people who want to be surprised. This is from Pokemon Sword and Shield Leaks from @LeaksPokemon, saying here's a recap thread of everything that's been leaked in the last 24 hours, along with some descriptions. It's a lot. Now, here's the thing. These leakers do not seem to be the smartest either. So I think they're in trouble at this point because they kind of outed themselves. Here's another tweet, okay? And this is something else. This is from Philly Beats You. The leaker's Discord pic was exactly the same as his channel, which was linked to his Facebook. This is after more and more screenshots started to come out. So at this point, the Pokemon Company, Nintendo, I think they know where the leaks are coming from, and they're going to deal with that. Now, on top of all of this, a guidebook also leaked out with that. So now there are images, like official images from a guidebook also starting to make the rounds. And the Pokemon Company and Nintendo have done a lot to try to keep this under wraps. Seriously, they were trying to make this more of a surprise when we got to the release, which is in less than 2 weeks. They were this close. Now, here's the thing. I do think the game will leak even further out. It seems that the leaker that was leaking this stuff out was playing one version of the game. So that means there's probably other Pokemon that they have not seen. They put out Pokemon that were brand new that people had not seen before, different Gigantamax forms. So there's a lot of stuff happening, but they've only been playing one version of the game. So keep that in mind as well as we get closer to release. And I'm telling you now, I think this game is going to leak out. I just think it will. It's too popular to me to not leak out. Stores will break street dates. So if you're looking around and you see threads on forums or on Twitter that are talking about Pokemon leaks and you're like, oh, that's not possible. The game's not out. Yeah, the leaks are out there. Screenshots are circulating right now. Entire breakdowns of the Pokedex and which Pokemon are in and out. All that's out there. So if you want to put the blinders on, I would go on Twitter and start muting stuff. Stay off of Twitter, stay off of forums. Definitely stay off of any Pokemon forums at this point, because I'm sure there's plenty of discussions going on, and I'm sure most of it is maybe even in the forum titles. So keep that in mind, like the topic titles. But yes, it's going to be a bit of a trip to get to Pokemon release without getting spoiled, but just putting it out there just in case you want to try. Next up, let's talk about Blizzcon. Happened over the weekend, and quite a bit of stuff took place here. We had games announced. We had a protest of at least 30 people. Wait a minute. There were 40,000 people there last year, and there are only 30-ish people there. That was reported by Kotaku, but yeah, apparently 30 or so people in the line for protesting. All right, sure. Here's the thing. Maybe the people who were supposed to be protesting heard that Diablo 4 is coming, or maybe Overwatch 2? Yeah, both of those did get announced at BlizzCon after the president took the stage and didn't really apologize at all for what happened with Blitzchung or anything, the casters. None of that. Just said that they moved too quickly and then play the cinematic trailer for Diablo 4. That's kind of what happened. They pretty much pivoted away from that after they said that they acted too quickly and they're sorry for that. It wasn't great, and a lot of people noticed that, but again, then all the lights started flashing and, you get Overwatch 2. It was played correctly on their side with how they wanted to do it, because now a lot of people are talking about Overwatch 2 and everything else that's taking place. But we'll at least go over the announcements here that did happen. Diablo 4 is coming out. We don't know when. They don't have any kind of release date, nothing like that. So I assume that they will put that out there at some point. It does look a bit darker. I will admit they do have they did have a bunch of gameplay details, a lot of video about this. It's coming to the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC, and I'm sure they'll also do versions of this on the next platforms, the Scarlet and the PS5 as well, like they did with Diablo 3. And the other little bit here that I think some people may have missed, they did say that Diablo 4 will be always online. Now, I know on PC, they kind of had that already, but on consoles, they made it so you could play offline. That will not be the case here. It looks like Diablo 4 will have an always online mode for consoles and PC, so keep that in mind. Hopefully they don't mess too much with the in-game economy like they did with 3, and they don't try to annoy people too much with that, but it's Activision. I'm not going to put it past them. However, Diablo 4, everyone was looking for it. Good to see it's out on phones. It's an actual thing, and yeah, visually, the gameplay, everything looked like what Diablo fans want. We also had Overwatch 2 announced. This one's weird because it sounds like it's an expansion, and let me explain what I mean. They're going to have a PvE mode, they're going to have new maps, new heroes that they were talking about, but here's the thing. If you already own Overwatch 1, you could still play with everyone, you can still play the maps, the heroes. You won't have PvE, like that, any of that stuff, the story mode that they're talking about, none of that will be accessible to you. So if you want to do any of that, you will need to buy Overwatch 2. We don't know pricing. There has been speculation of it being a $40 price, and we don't know release date. Jeff Kaplan said he has no idea. So because it has the compatibility that it does with Overwatch 1, which again, if you already own it, you don't really care about PvE, you're in good shape right now. You just hang out, okay? You just keep playing Overwatch 1. When Overwatch 2 shows up, you'll just play like normal. So there you go. But the whole thing with Overwatch 2 is weird because it's still a confusing situation. I don't think they were able to, I guess, describe it as well as they would have liked to. Definitely not shown it as much as they would have liked to. And the fact that we don't know when it's coming out, I mean, this could be, I assume, next year, right? I mean, we're in November now. It's not like it's going to come out at the end of November or December. I would assume it would come out maybe towards the back half of next year, and it might just be a digital-only thing. I mean, maybe for consoles, you might see it hit the stores, but it could just be a code like we saw with the Switch version because, well, it's basically going to be a download that just integrates with Overwatch 1, it sounds like. There's still a lot of information we need on that one, though, and we'll have to wait and see. It's also worth mentioning that Overwatch 2 appears to be coming to the Switch as well as the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC, which, if you just bought Overwatch 1 on the Switch, wouldn't worry too much about it considering it seems to be compatible for the most part with PvP, and it also makes sense if they're using the same engine, or at least a very similar engine, that it would work on the Switch considering they just got Overwatch 1 working. They also announced World of Warcraft Shadowlands, that comes out in 2020, and then Hearthstone Descent of Dragons, which is out soon according to them, and an Auto Battler, which is also coming soon. So wrapping up BlizzCon, it looked like people did have fun there for the most part. There was still a lot of controversy, obviously, around Blizzard, but people got to see things like Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, and people even got to play Diablo Immortal, which I'm sure that line was out the door for it. But hey, you know what? For everything going into this, it actually turned out to be a pretty straightforward event, minus the 30 people or so protesting outside. Next up, we'll talk about Luigi's Mansion 3. It's a game that I am playing through right now. I am probably about 3/4 of the way through. I do plan on making a video just with my thoughts about the game. Hopefully, I have that out midway through this week. I'm going to try to finish the game up hopefully today, and then I can have all those thoughts out before I play Need for Speed Heat and then Death Stranding. It's getting kind of packed right now. We got Star Wars and Pokemon, and fortunately, well, not fortunately, but Doom Eternal is pushed next year. But Luigi's Mansion's off to a good start in the UK. This was tweeted out ahead of the UK charts that are generally put out. Christopher Dring, the GamesIndustry.biz publisher, said UK physical charts are in. Call of Duty sales very robust in second week, which isn't very surprising, I think. But Luigi's Mansion 3 is number 2. It's the fastest selling Nintendo game of the year, ahead of Link's Awakening, which was the second one. I'll have the full analysis in the morning, so go check that out at GamesIndustry.biz this morning. But good stuff there from Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm glad to see it selling because Luigi's Mansion 3 is just good. It's a good game. I want to see another one. I want to see a fourth one at this point because the puzzle solving is great. The visuals, don't put it out there, might be the best visual, like visually might be one of the best Switch games so far. Like it looks clean, the visuals are sharp, it doesn't have that blurry effect that you might see in other games. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Next Level Games did a good job, and I'll work to have a video out, like I said, with my full thoughts on it, but I'm very happy to see at least initial sales. This is just in the UK physically, by the way, so we still have to see other regions. Specifically, we'll have to wait and see Famitsu and then MPDs and everything, but so far, so good for Luigi's Mansion 3. And in our last bit of news, talk a little bit about Alpha Dream. You remember Alpha Dream, right? They closed down, they did the Mario and Luigi games, but people were curious about what this mystery game is that they had previously worked on. Remember, there was a report put out there by Liam Robinson that this had been worked on, Alpha Dream had worked on a game but we didn't really know what it was, and it turns out it was actually Mario and Sonic Olympic Games 2020. It was actually found in the credits. Yeah, so there's full credits there and everything that shows Alpha Dream development team on the Mario Sonic Olympic Games, that's Tokyo 2020. So that's just, they were contracted for it. Again, it didn't work out. Alpha Dream didn't work out overall with money and everything. It seems like they just went bankrupt, mismanagement possibly, but hey, they did help out as a supporting studio. I'll put that out there big time there because Sega did most of the work. Alpha Dream helped out, and that, I guess, would be the last game that they would be doing as a studio, of course, because they currently are bankrupt, out of business, and all of that. So it's still interesting to see them pop up in credits at the end of the game, considering we're kind of done talking about them at this point. Not really gonna be doing any Mario and Luigi or anything, but hey, hopefully all the employees there found work elsewhere, because they still have good workers here. Obviously, as I will say, Mario and Sonic Olympic Games came out pretty good from a technical standpoint. It plays well. As should people buy it? Well, that's something I will also be talking about, I think, coming up soon. And we'll finish up the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This one's from Honkler saying, literally everyone we have GameCube games on Switch. Literally Nintendo, yes, you can have 3DS games on the Switch. So we'll probably see 3DS franchises. Kid Icarus, put it on the Switch, give that game a this big massive game. It'd be really cool, I think, to have that there, just to see how it could perform on the Switch with a big audience and a big spotlight, especially if it gets a good shot like we've seen Luigi's Mansion 3 get in October, right in like the prime season with holidays and everything. Here's the thing though, GameCube games I think are a long way off, and I almost feel like Nintendo would rather go back and pull some of those and do remakes or remasters. I almost don't know if they don't want to just throw it on the system in that way. And we've even seen Furukawa talk about these ideas during the investors briefing with Q&A, not necessarily just GameCube games, but remakes and remasters. They want to look towards possibly doing things newer with them, citing Link's Awakening as a game that still had heavy nostalgia, but still felt newer. And I think a lot of that had to do with the visual style for the most part. But GameCube games, I don't think will become part of the subscription service, considering we just got Super Nintendo games. We have a couple generations to go before GameCube. I think they'd rather package and sell them separately. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to here for Newswave. Enjoyed this video, guys. Hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is Blizzcon with Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, or maybe you want to talk a bit about Luigi's Mansion 3 sales right out of the gate, or the Pokemon leaks, but just be careful not to spoil it for anyone down in the comments. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.